Check.
So I can bet anything, or
Sure.
all right, bet 5.
Oh my God. You can bet anything, but not 5.
Okay. So I will take 2.
Blaine?
I'm gonna take. Let's see. Give me. Just give me 1.
Ooh, and that's why he's betting $5 off the bet. And I'll take 3.
So, Mike, you're a big puss. Were you ever bullied as a kid? You like how I just rolled that in there?
It's a nice segue.
Did you have many altercations growing up?
Yeah, I was a fighter.
You were?
Oh, yeah. I was always getting in fights, man. And, but I got the crap beat out of me a few times, and I kind of slowed down. And, but I took judo when I was a kid. So I was like provincial champion in judo, and I could hold my own. And so I'd use it. And I wouldn't pick fights, but I wouldn't back down from them either.
Right.
Like if somebody wanted to go, let's go.
Did you let people know, hey, I'm not picking a fight, but if you want to go, I'll go?
Yeah.
You just walk up to strangers and say that?
I wouldn't do that. But if it's always the little guy, like I was never tall, obviously. And so, I'd get picked on. I had ultra blonde hair, and so I'd get called albino, and I'd get made fun of. And, that was just, especially in like elementary and junior high, that was the way to solve the problem. So as you just meet you at the back of the school, and
Right.
go to town, and judo did me well. So fighting came pretty natural for me. But yeah, I wasn't the bully. I was always more of, I took up for the underdog. I loved taking up for the underdog.
Me too.
I don't know, there was just a justice part of me that just said, I'm not going to let everyone, make this guy feel like a pile of crap. I'm not going to let that happen. So it was fun doing it. Yeah.
How has bullying become such a huge thing now when it's always been around? But now it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Or at least, exposing it and standing up against it is now a big thing.
Yeah.
But it's always been around.
I think so. I think it's always been here. It was there when I was a kid. It was, I'm sure, there when you guys were kids. But I think with social media, it's got more pronounced because now we can cyberbully. We can go on Facebook and make fun of people and, post bad pictures of people like I do you. And,
right.
And so,
I don't understand cyberbullying.
Yeah.
Because I can block you.
Right.
I don't have to read your crap.
Well, the kids at school, though, if they may not have seen what was posted about them, but when they show up on Tuesday morning, every other kid is like, I saw what they said about you. And they posted this picture, they made your head look, And so there's that element, and I think that element just causes a powder keg in schools. It just kind of, there's carryover from the internet.
Well, we used to have privacy.
Yeah.
And even if something happened in one place of the world, it took time for the rest of the world to know about it.
Exactly.
Now it's all instantaneously and everybody knows.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a game changer right there.
That's true.
Part of it is I think our culture has kind of awoken to it. Like they've said, we're not going to put up with this. And so it's been exposed more in the media. We see YouTube videos of kids beating up other kids, and all of a sudden there's this outcry in the culture saying, okay, this is going to be stopped. And now there's all these organizations, these anti-bullying programs, and things that I think are trying to solve the problem. But I think that I think a lot of it begins in the workplace and in the for me, growing up in the church world, there's bullies in the church world. There's bullies there's a lot of parent bullies and adult bullies that kids learn from dad or even mom.
Right.
And so I think it needs to go, in our education a step further from just let's help these kids to let's be responsible adults and not be bullies in our world, because we can be bullies.
I was talking to my mom just yesterday about bullying, and she mentioned, well, don't forget bullying in the office bullying in the, I said, what?
Yeah.
Because I was picturing teenagers in school and low self-esteem and all that kind of stuff. She said, no, it happens at work. She said, where do you think those kids learn it? Learn from their parents.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And more than that, so much of the bullying now, at least that gets the most attention, is around gay people. Mm-hmm. Bullying kids because they're gay.
Yeah.
And I think probably the church has been more responsible for bullying from the pulpit about gay people than anything.
Yeah, I would agree. Growing up as I did, I came to faith when I was 16 and got into the church world, found myself moving into ministry and those dynamics, and I don't know how many times sitting in a church I heard the pastor, the preacher, the evangelist, whoever was up, do the old Adam and Eve joke. God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and would go on to just belittle and make somebody that was, dealing with same-sex attraction, trying to figure that out, the reality of that in their own life, just make them feel shameful. And if they did have questions, if they wanted maybe to talk to somebody about, this, they sure didn't feel safe.
The church wasn't a safe place.
No, it was not going to be there where they make fun of what I'm dealing with. So
well, and the grapevine is in the church. I mean, talk about everybody knowing everything right away, too. The whole idea of confidence, which, at least the Catholics have a couple of booths that they can, do their deal, and everything's supposed to be confident. But, church counseling, and I mean, it's who do you trust to tell what?
Yeah, it breaks my heart. I mean, we did, I've got a friend of mine, Michael McDermott, and when I lived in Dallas, we put a program together called Not in My School, and basically we go into schools, we give kids a book on why we shouldn't bully, and one of the first things we do in here is talk about 4 different stories of kids who take their lives. And one girl takes a Christmas scarf that she got as a gift, hangs herself in the closet with a scarf. Another kid shoots himself in the head. But when that is happening in America, something is wrong. And a lot of these kids do come from a lifestyle where they're experimenting with a gay lifestyle and trying to figure out their identity, and they get made fun of because they're a little bit different, and it's just not fair. And I think if anybody, thank God for it. I mean, we were able to create an organization. It's not a religious organization, but it's called bullyproofusa.com, and it's awesome. But really, this kind of programming and this kind of outreach ought to be coming out of the churches. I mean, if anybody ought to be saying we care about kids and their problems and the fears and the pain and the confusion that maybe they're struggling with, it ought to be the church.
Is there an awakening in the church because of the awakening around the globe?
I don't know, Chris. I can't speak for the whole church, but I see parts of the church that are moving more towards compassion and understanding and embracing not just people that are living in a gay lifestyle, but I think it just embracing people in general. I mean, people that are that have doubts or fears, or they're unsure of their faith, or they're living maybe a different life than the Christian life, and so I'm seeing some of that, but there are also the other side that are just like railing, on
More
people and really, really causing, I think, a greater divide between the church world and what I would call the real world of real people searching for real answers. And
Right.
I know what side I'm on, but yeah. So I don't know. Some days I've been to wonderful churches, and I walk out of them and I think, wow, we're making progress. This church is great. I mean, I was just in a church in Tucson, and I had the opportunity to speak on a weekend, and they've had 23 sex workers, including girls that work at strip bars and other places that have come into that church, made commitments to Christ, and some of them haven't left that world yet. But this pastor and his wife and their elders and their team have just said, hey, come in, do the journey with us. We'll do the journey with you, and God will work in your life to figure this out.
Wow, that almost sounds like love.
I think it might be.
Might be.
How about Exodus International last week? The little parade, the Gay Away camp.
Yeah.
Came out, closed their doors, said, we're sorry, we're wrong. We have had, in however many years of doing this, we've had zero success in turning any gay person straight. Mm-hmm. And, maybe there's a reason for that.
Well,
maybe there's nothing wrong with them.
I think it would be good for everybody on both sides of that issue to just embrace a little bit of humility.
Yeah.
Like, do we really think...
That's asking a lot.
Do we really
churches.
think we've got this all figured out? Like,
Right.
we know exactly why somebody has grown up with a same-sex affection or desire. I heard growing up, well, it's because they haven't had a father's love, or they were all molested, or there was always some crazy thing that happened in their life that caused them to be this way, and it's just not true.
Right. Do you think a lot of pastors feel the pressure to answer every question, to have the answer for everything? They feel like, well, here I am, I'm the pastor, I've got all these people, and somebody comes to me with this problem or that problem, I need to know what that answer is. And so I'm going to try to figure it out, and to the very, very best I can, give that answer when chances are it's not true.
Yeah, don't get me started on that question, because, I grew up in a very conservative, evangelical, charismatic church world and church, and there was no opportunity to question the pastor, to question authority, to say, wait a minute, what about this? I mean, that would be if you had a job there, it'd be the end of your job, and if you were a congregant, you would be probably asked to leave. And so I think it's a huge problem.
On the next episode of Smoke Break.
Well, this issue is very personal to me, because my middle son's gay. Wow. And he comes to my wife and I at the time, and he says, and he invites us to his counselor, says, I'm not fighting this anymore. I have prayed, for 20 years that this would go away, and God has not taken it away. I have fought this, and I just cannot continue to lie